Hello, welcome back. It's redesigning day. It's remastering, fixing, adjusting Dungeons and Dragons 5e and guess what? Backgrounds. We're going to deal with a background today on, well, it was requested. A lot of people requested it in live stream last time. So you get the urchin. So we're going to be doing that today. Okay, I'm going to put up a poll. Feel free to take part in that poll. How's it going, big kid? How are you? Anyway, my suggestion is grab some food, some drink, make sure you're comfortable, and I'll get started in a second. Okay, we won't muck around. I want to only spend about an hour. If I can hopefully get it all done in an hour, that would be wonderful. So that's the target time. Hi, welcome to How to RPG. My name is Fred Weller, and today my topic is really about fixing and remastering Dungeons and Dragons 5e backgrounds. And the background I have selected, but mostly the people who follow my channel, is the urchin background. That poor little tyke who had to grow up on the streets, the mean streets. Now, one of the things I'll say about the street urchin or the urchin for Dungeons and Dragons 5e as a background is most of it's actually not too bad. But there's one aspect of it that's really bad. And so I'm going to be going over that very, very shortly. But before I do that, what I want to do is I want to go over my goals, what I am intending to do with the background today. As I said before, I want to keep the backgrounds as simple as possible. Wherever possible, I want to make sure they aren't difficult to understand. I need people to be able to understand how to run these. Game masters need to understand them. Players need to know how they work. Okay, keep the background and their features. I don't really want to turn them into a cartoon superhero or a character who's a superhero. Backgrounds for me is what you did before you became the adventurer or superhero. So I don't want them to be heroes coming out of the bat with their background. So their features need to be very much tied to what normal people would do. Okay, maybe just in different environments and different growing up differently. I'm not concerned with the background being balanced. I just want it to mechanically work the way that I think it should based off the narrative. That's what my target is. I'm going to assign 2 proficiencies to tools or musical instruments. I want to take skills out of the equation in many respects in terms of proficiencies. I think that's something that is probably best looked at with regard to classes rather than with regard to your background. Okay, they feel too much like a superpower. But tool proficiencies are often overlooked, and I think that's where tool proficiency should be sitting in the background. Musical instruments and game gear, that's also another thing that I'm going to lean more into. I'm also going to lean more into languages. So the assignment of languages, I don't think languages should be determined by the race or species that you play. I think it's your background that gives your all of your languages that you know. So you'll see languages expounded because I'm taking them out of the playable races that I have remastered and I'm putting it into background because that's where I think it needs to live. Making equipment, anything you get in terms of equipment needs to be fitting with the background, makes sense. Now, they have some guidelines. Unearthed Arcana had suggested about 50 gold coins worth of gear, which is fine if that is still going to work with what makes sense. So that's certainly a target, but not a definitive as far as I'm concerned. Make sure the features are more robust to fit the narrative for Dungeon Master Guidance. Every background has a feature, and they're almost all narrative, and they don't have any guidance or any mechanics written into them, so it's completely up to the Dungeon Master to try to figure out how to adjudicate this. Sometimes that leads to they do nothing with it. Sometimes that leads to they come up with a solution. But I think the game designers need to come up with some sort of solution, at least some recommendations of all things. So and the urchin's really bad around this. I have no intention of giving out a first level feat into the backgrounds, but I certainly will be giving some mechanical stuff to the background, okay? Most feats are combat focused and I just don't think they're the right thing. It's a background, it is not a class. Retaining personality traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws, which they're going to be ditching. Wizards of the Coast is going to get rid of them. I think they need to stay. I just think that people need to decide what they are. They don't need to necessarily roll on a chart or table, but they still need to be retained. I know my players would be very upset if they were removed. They've already told me this many times. I need to ensure that the background works for my home group, because that's really who I'm making it for. In many respects, they need to agree on it, and and I'll change what I need to make it work for them. And the backgrounds need to make sense to me. So that's really where my head is at with regard to this today. So we're going to work our way through this and see how it comes out, and I hope you'll come along for the ride. Ravenlaw, hello, how are you? Nice to have you here. Okay, so I'm going to grab my phone, track what you're doing and saying on my phone as I work my way through. Make it clear, the urchin is not a hot mess. It is not a hot mess. It is just weak. That's honestly what it is. It's just weak. In terms of what it's trying to achieve. So that's what we're going to try to do. We'll try to fix that. So I'm going to bring up my Google document so you can see it, and I'll go from there. Okay. Will it show me what I want? Yes, it will. Yes, that's a good start. And let's jump over to here. Okay. All right, I think I'm ready. Bum, bum, bum. The urchin. Let us deal with the urchin, shall we? So with regard to the urchin, I would like to give it a different name. If somebody can come up with a different name, awesome. Hello, Jasper. How are you? Nice to have you. And nice to have Big Kid and Ravenlaw here. And anybody else who isn't commenting, that's cool. I understand you need to be quiet. I'm going to stay anonymous. It's all good. Okay, let's get this cracking. I'm not going to worry about the lore. This entry here, for me, I would rewrite, but I don't have time for it. I'm going to just skip past it. One of the things I've got to be careful about is that my players would be very, very annoyed if there was not some sort of write-up and description. But I don't want to use the Wizards of the Coast write-up, but I also know it would take me too much time, so I'm going to just sort of leave it. Now, this is one of those times, one of those weird times where I think that skill proficiency and sleight of hand and stealth kind of fits with a background, like the urchin. But I still don't want to give them skill proficiency. So what I've been doing is I've been assigning advantage to a lot of these checks. And I think that's really where I'm going to go with this. Sleight of hand, stealth, dexterity checks, I think giving them advantage under certain circumstances, I think that's what I really want this to be able to do. And I need to give plenty of guidance and explanation. And I'm going to be using Xanathar's Guide to Everything because it's got tool proficiencies in there, so we can kind of dig that out a little bit. I really like the fact they have included tool proficiencies in the disguise kit and thieves tools. I do feel like that fits, but it also fits for a spy. So yeah, so I'm going to leave those. I actually don't have too much of a problem with this. Quite happy with this. Don't mind that at all. What I would like to do is add in languages. I think languages is a factor here, so we're going to put them in. Okay? As I said, I don't want them in the races, I want them in the backgrounds, languages. And select 2 languages of your choice. I don't think it needs to be, you can only pick from this list. I think that's unnecessary. I don't know what sort of world you're running, so why the heck would I care what those languages are? So I don't need to set a hard limit on that. That's nice and easy. Equipment. I'm going to just bold this. And a small knife. Okay, a map of the city you grew up in. A pet mouse. A token to remember your parents by. Fine. A set of common clothes and a pouch with containing 10 gold coins, which seems like a lot of money for a street urchin. How is it that the street urchin has so much money? Have we decided that your background as a street urchin is you're not really an urchin anymore, so you've got cash? Do you notice that there's something missing from equipment? Has anybody noticed there's something that's really important that I think should actually be here as part of the urchin? If you're going to give a background proficiency in thieves' tools and the disguise kit, why stipulate and require that that particular background must go and use the money they get when they build their character to go and buy the thieves' tools and the disguise kit? Would they not already have them? That's what I would say to you is, why wait now? Is it because the disguise kit is too expensive, the thieves' tools are too expensive, so they have to go out and buy these things now? Are we really worried about that aspect of the game so much that we feel like giving them those things as part of their background would be too much? Like, we can't give them too much. Money and gear, gear is good. Money you can do anything with, granted. But I think this is one of those times where they've actually failed to understand the reality of the situation. So let me just have a look at the cost. What is the real cost? Is it really a big issue? Thieves' tools, 25 gold pieces. But we're talking about a toolkit that as you were growing up, you probably had, right? And you used constantly. You've probably got the same set of tools that you were using from the get-go as you were growing up on the street. So why would you not still have that? So this 25 gold pieces is probably trying to sort of keep the cost down on what you have. A small knife costs you nothing. A map costs you nothing, really. A pet mouse, you can find that anywhere. A token, nothing. Common clothes, cheap as chips. And then pouch worth of 10 gold coins. I would take some of the gold coins away and give them the thieves' tools. I think that's a much smarter idea. What about the disguise kit? Is the disguise kit itself worth so much? So it's also 25 gold pieces. Yet if you are a street urchin and you're growing up on the streets, again, if we feel like the disguise kit is it suitable? Then why do they not have that as well? So I am going to do this. A small knife. Thieves' tools. Whoopsies. Thieves' tools. And is there anything that would be more suitable for this than something like thieves' tools or the disguise kit? Just looking through our little list of things here. It's not alchemists, it's not brewers, and it's not calligrapher, no. Carpenter, no. Cartographer, no. Cobbler, cooks, utensils, glass blowing, jewelers' tools, leatherwork tools, no. Mason tools, painting supplies, potters, smithing, tinker's tools. I don't think any of that sort of necessarily fits with a street urchin. Weaver's tools, woodcarver's tools. I think it's probably better to actually include this as well. So we're going to say these are probably the main tools you grow up with. So you would have to use these. And you might have to disguise yourself when you get yourself into trouble. So let's go with disguise kit as well. Okay. So, and I'm going to take some of the money away. Let's just have them 5 gold coins. You've got a little bit of cash, but not that much to spend. Okay? You're poor. that's the deal. So that's the first thing I would do with this. The next thing is, I actually think that things like gambling and games and so forth, you would have to find your own sort of entertainment. My general feeling is that with a street urchin, you're probably having to find ways to sort of entertain people. So I almost feel like a street urchin is your busker. Like they might probably play a musical instrument, or they quite possibly, if they don't play a musical instrument, they sing, or they play or run games, dice games, card games, things like that. Some way that they can generate funds to live off the streets. Like you can steal, of course, but there's got to be another way as well, right? What do we got here? I'm quite partial to the gutter snap as a background name. Okay, well let's go back up here and let's put that in. Gutter snipe. Okay. Nice. Okay, let's put that in. Remove map. I think that London's cabbie. Think of London cabbie knowledge. Ah, I see what you're saying. What you're saying is the map itself is probably unnecessary, that their memory. So we need to look at the memory of the city. And so I need to make sure that I incorporate something around that. So let's do something like this. I would tend to agree. I think you're probably right. So let's just take this. Features, City Secrets is most god-awful feature I've ever seen in a background. Let's just drop this here. I mean, you might be saying, oh, lodging is the worst one. I don't know. No, I think lodging's probably more useful. but anyway, let's take that out. Okay, next. Only, okay, what do you got here, Ravenlaw? Only if they were playing a heavy resource management game. What if there should be multiple grades of thieves' tools? I suppose you could say that, but again, I just don't think it's something we need to worry about. Street Urchin should be using homemade tools and makeup, so it would give them, I'd give them both kits. This is what I was thinking, is that when you think of their disguise kit, it's not going to be kind of the same disguise kit that you might have for a spy. The same sort of thieves' tools that they're using for a spy. It's not going to be the same sort of, you know, the Guttersnap has probably made all their stuff. You know what I mean? So I think that's where my head was coming with this anyway. The Sherlock Holmes irregulars. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, all right. So we're in agreement that that's kind of where we go with this here. So here we keep going. Let's see this. I don't like this. And I don't know how else to put it. What's the best way to sort of explain why I don't like using skill proficiencies with this? Because it suggests that you had formal training. And I don't think you necessarily had formal training. I think you had your experience and your skills are from osmosis or from trial and error, where you had to learn on the job. You had to learn on the streets these things. So it's not like you had formal training, which is why I don't like using the idea of skill proficiencies and much prefer the idea of advantage. So I'm going to take that bit away. I haven't taken proficiency away, for those of you who have been paying attention. I'm going to take this, I'm going to cut it. I'm not chucking it away, I'm just doing something else with it. Okay? And I don't know what to call it yet, but we'll get there. Okay, let's keep going. I want to build in a... I guess we've got to have... I feel like we need to have some way that they generate wealth, rather than just stealing everything they come across. So this is why I think musical instrument, and why I think something like a game tool would be an interesting sort of combination, because it's a way of generating income, either through gambling or through I guess something like busking. You're playing musical instruments, stuff like that. So let's do something like that with this. And musical instruments can be really, really cheap. They can be cheap as chips. They really can. So let's go with here. Strawman, viola, da, da, da. Okay, so this is, how would I write this? Now I've got to just figure out how to write this up. So this is going to work. Okay, street urchin, here we go. And one of the factors with the street urchin, okay, here we go. So it's under tool proficiency. So I'm going to make the tool proficiency section quite a lot bigger. So I'm pretty sure if I take away skills as skill proficiencies, I need to still replace it with something. The basic structure of background tends to work with 2 skills, 1 language or a tool proficiency, and yeah. So let's have a look here. Languages, Acolyte's not that great. Suggestions, backgrounds. Here we go. Customizing backgrounds. Okay, so here we are. Backgrounds. Each proficiency. 2 skill proficiencies, so we're ditching that though. In addition, most backgrounds give a character proficiency with 1 or more tools detailed in chapter. Okay, so 1 or more. So yeah, okay. I'm kind of trying to go with 2 and 2. The same proficiency from 2 different sources. He or she chooses. Okay, so we've got that. Languages, backgrounds can have backgrounds. To learn Well, we're tying that in automatically. Equipment. Alright, so I just want to make sure I get this right. But I think that's the basic gist of it. You're getting 2 and 2. 2 and 2, that's what we're dealing with here. So we're going to keep just 2 languages. Forget about the languages, and we're going to just give them 2 of those. Okay, that's what I want to do. I think that's how it will work. How do I want to work this? How would I work this? Let's have a look down here and see what the last background was like. I included a lot of different things. I also included languages too. So I did 2, but I don't want to do more languages. I don't think that Street Urchin would necessarily know more languages. I think it's going to be more tools. So let's go here. Where are we? Where are we? Okay. One type of game set, gaming set, and 1. I'm pretty sure I want to put musical instrument. Hello, Sean Chapman. Thank you for the $20 super chat. Hey, thank you so much. Good to see you still going strong, Fred. Can't stay for the whole stream, but here's a coffee or 2 for a minute from you. Look, thank you, Sean. I appreciate that. Yes, I'm still going strong. Okay, so let's do a gaming set, because I feel like that's fun, and let's also go a musical instrument. So you can go with both. I feel like that's going to be the best way to go with this. So yeah, 1 type of musical instrument. Musical instrument. Okay. You like the gaming set idea? Good. I'm glad you do. Awesome. Yeah, informal apprenticeship. Yeah, it's you're learning on the job. They are the eyes and ears, and yes, absolutely. I agree. Okay, so let's do this. That means we get a lot of tools, but not a lot of languages. But I still feel like it's a fun selection of tools. So let's include 1 game set, 1 gaming set, or 1 musical instrument on top of the thieves tool. So I know that sounds like a lot, people, but I am tempted to say that's where we go with this. I think that's really where I want to go with this. Let's have a look here. Let's just check the kind of costs on these things. Gaming sets are pretty cheap. You can get a gaming set, like a dice set is like 1 silver piece. Dragon chess set is like one gold piece. 5 silver for a playing card set. Dragon ante is 1 gold. Musical instruments are more expensive, but I think we leave in a choice. Like, you can go either way. You've got both skills, but let's give them a choice. Why not? Let's give them an option. They can choose something. A small knife, those things they definitely have. These things they have. That's fine. I don't mind about any of that there. 1 gaming set or musical instrument. Okay, let's do that. All right, that's a lot of gear for a street urchin, but I've probably picked it up over the years. I still think that works reasonably well, and so we'll leave it at that for that part of it. Okay, now we have to deal with this thing. This street secrets thing is awful. Let me read it out to you so you can see just how bad it is. You know the secret patterns and flow to the city and can find passages through urban sprawl that others would miss. When you're not in combat, you and the companions you lead can travel between any two locations in the city twice as fast as your speed would normally allow. And this is something that I'm not really keen on, because how is traveling twice as fast in the city ever going to come up as a factor in your game? Has anybody ever had that come up in their game, where traveling outside of combat, traveling through from one location to another in a city, that speed has been vital? Is it just because I've never run that many urban locations? Maybe you have. But I feel like this Street Secrets is the biggest load of bullshit under the sun. It's a nothing burger. It makes it easy for a game master to figure out what's going on, but you've essentially given the players not a damn thing. That's what I have an issue with. I don't like it at all. Okay, so suggested characteristics. So I want you to have a think about, how could Street Secrets be done better? Hello, Nathaniel Woods. Hashtag. How could Street Secrets be done better? Okay. Major feature should be a connection or being able to find connections to the underworld. Quite possibly, that could be one. Yeah, yep. Maybe you get lucky and get a few odd jobs and got good at one or two of them. Okay, all right, I see what you're trying to go with here, Nathaniel Woods. City secret should be finding the black market areas or places to get what is not commonly available. Much better. Yep, I see you've posted 2 ideas already. I'm going to come back to those, so keep throwing your little ideas out there, and I'm going to just work through this. Okay, so street urchins, I just want to go over this very quickly. I'm not really going to do very much with this for obvious reasons. So suggested characteristics. Urchins are shaped by lives of desperate poverty for good and for ill. They tend to be driven either by a commitment to the people with whom they share life on the streets, or by a burning desire to find a better life. And maybe get some payback on all the rich people who treat them badly. Create for your character's background a personality trait, ideal, bond, and flaw. That's it. I don't think we need to go any further into that, so I'm going to leave that little bit. Okay, so the first thing that I would like to point out and that I would like to do with Street Secrets is I'm going to pull in this idea. Okay. Cut. Paste. You can navigate the city you grew up in without a map. That should be the first most obvious thing, which I believe Jasper had already pointed out. So we're going to put that in there. Next, I'm going to pull in some of your ideas, Jasper, directly out of the chat. So just let me just see, where is it? Let me just grab these. I'm just going to plonk them in there as ideas and come back to that because there's something else I would like to work on. It's not that I'm forgetting about or ignoring street secrets. What I'm actually trying to do is work on the next thing so that I don't run out of time, which otherwise I will. Yeah, exactly. There we go. We'll put this in here. Black market stuff. You were mentioning black market stuff. I agree. I think black market stuff is definitely a factor. But we have to also include mechanics, otherwise it'll get lost. Maybe you got lucky and you got a few odd jobs. Good ones. I don't know how to write that. Major feature should be a connection to the underworld. Okay, so the city underworld, of course. It's not the underworld as in the underdark, but the underworld, the city underworld. I agree. I think that's a good idea. All right, so we've got a bunch of your ideas down. Okay, so now let's go back here. And I want to start breaking apart some of those tool proficiencies that we have. Thieves' tools, disguise kit. How do we actually deal with this? And so I'm going to use D&D Beyond because it's just easier for me to sort of show, and I can kind of cut and paste and drop it in. Just make life a little bit quicker. And we're going to probably build a different feature outside of just city secrets. What it's called, I don't know. But let's have a look at the disguise kit. The perfect tool for anyone who wants to engage in trickery. This is from Xanathar's Guide to Everything. In trickery, disguise kit enables its owner to adopt a false identity. So, this is really what it's all about. It's about false identity, and it gives you the components so we know it's kind of in it. Let's not worry too much about that bit. But what is it actually around? It's actually around things like deception, intimidation, performance, persuasion. All the charisma checks. So all the charisma checks. It's really supposed to, the idea is that it's supposed to give you some sort of benefit in some way. Okay, so that's really what we want to lean into. So let's just spell that out. Right now it gives you some guidance around how long it takes and so forth. But I'm going to pull all of this as deception, intimidation, performance, persuasion, all this stuff that's really around the social manipulation of a population. This is what we're going to go with, okay? This is what I want to build into this. So our first thing with this is, okay, let's bring that down here. Trickery. Okay, so, and then we need to have a sort of I want to give it a different name. What's a feature? If you didn't have a thing called city secrets, what's the name of a feature that would be sort of suitable for a street urchin that would indicate the kinds of skills that they have? Have a think about that for a second. So what I want to do here is you have advantage on any charisma based skill or ability check to deceive, intimidate, persuade, and perform in some way around other people when using your disguise kit There we go. That's the kind of mechanics that I would like to have there on any, not a, it's supposed to be any. So we've spelled out really what the mechanics are of what I want to lead into with the disguise kit. That's our first port of call. Because you've got to be able to, yes, exactly. Feature name, assumption of a role. I'm not quite sure. What is that? Assumption of a role. Hate it, but maybe it will inspire somebody else. Okay. Yeah, I think it needs to be something else. Role or something, role. Or is it, okay, identity. Is it false identity? Maybe that's part of what's going on here. We'll see. False identity. Assuming a role. Hello. Okay, let's see. Let's keep going. Now the rest of this around the disguise kit, I'm not going to worry about. You'll notice with the disguise kit, really all it said is in certain circumstances, disguise can improve your ability to weave cunning lies. It hasn't given you sort of any sort of guidance around that. I've given you at least an idea of what you would do with the dice if you're using dice. Okay. I would also like to think that we can include something that deals with very basic stuff. Do you know what I mean? We did this before with the Fisher, where certain things you can do and nobody's going to be the wiser. So I do feel like there needs to be a factor here where with this, there are times where you don't need to worry about rolling dice. I've done this before. Let me just show you an example of this. I think it's down here. Okay, so so I think it is. You don't need to make an ability check or skill check to know basic information about marine animals. So something like this, but not around marine animals, obviously. So here's another one. You don't need to make an ability check to handle a water. So this is another thing. So let's take this line here. But the DC, I want to change. And I think primarily because when you are tricking somebody, there is a lot of things that can go horribly wrong. So I think we need to be careful about eliminating too much of the dice roll here. I know I can't believe I'm saying this. You don't need to make an ability or skill check to use your disguise or disguise kit or thieves tools unless the difficulty class is now medium or higher. So I'm dropping this down to a 15. Is there a better way of saying this? You don't need to make an ability or skill check to use your disguise kit or thieves tools unless the difficulty class is more than very easy or easy, is medium or higher. No, I think medium or higher is fine. Plus. Is that clear? So we're eliminating a DC of 5. We're eliminating a DC of 10. You don't need to worry about those things. But DC 15 and up, those are things that you would have to deal with. Those are times when we would roll dice, because you should be pretty good at these things. You should be reasonably good at using your thieves tools for whatever the heck it is, which we'll get into. And we should be pretty good at adopting a false appearance in some way, or false identity, because we've had practice over the years. I don't want to be... I hate it when people want to roll dice for every damn thing under the sun. That's really where this is where I'm coming from, okay? Cut, paste. Trickery. That involves picking pockets. Okay, trickery that involves picking pockets. What's the other one? Picking pockets. Picking locks. Adopting a false identity. Are tasks you can perform with a reasonable level of expertise. No, I don't want to use the word expertise because it means something else. Level of skill. I guess that'll do. Okay. You have advantage on any charisma-based skill or ability check to deceive, intimidate, persuade, and perform in some way around other people when using your disguise kit. Okay, so we've got that bit. We also need to deal with pickpocketing and picking locks. Let's go back to the tool and Xanathar's Guide, because what I want to do is I want to show you the Thieves Toolkit and kind of pull that apart a little bit as well. Okay, you'll notice that sleight of hand and stealth is still here. So these are things that I really want to sort of retain. City secrets. What about street expert? Maybe that's more like what we need to have, because I'm folding a few different things into this. Let's keep going. All right, let's have a look. Let's see what you guys have said here. What's this? Is effing being an actor, but I can't think of an interesting name. Yeah, I know. When you were young, life was hard, and you had to do anything to get by. Working odd jobs, stealing, spying, smuggling, which allowed you to really know the city. Yes, yeah. City secrets. You can find stores and rumors with ease. Okay. Well, I mean, stores. You know everything in the. I think we need to include the black market stuff at some point. So I want to do that. Rumors is not a bad idea, though. I think you're quite right. Rumors and secrets. Let's make sure we include this. Okay. Hello, Shy X. How are you? So I've noted that down. Rumors is a good idea, for sure. Something about the mouse is bothering me. Maybe it should be a battle cat. Oh, haha. And if you find something or someone native to the city, you don't need to make unless the DC is 15 plus. So what I've done is I've included that. So under street expert and disguising stuff, this is sort of feeding into all of this thing. Is that around using your disguise kit, you're going to be better at things like intimidating, persuading, performing, deceiving. So we've got that lot kind of linked in. So I think that's fine. Let's keep doing that. And now let's go back to Thieves' Tools, because that's what we're still missing from here in terms of our Thieves' Tools. So let's go to that next section. Let's get past this. That's a forgery kit. Moving along. Gaming sets. So this is an interesting thing. Gaming sets. Proficient with a gaming set allows you one type of gaming set, such as Dragon Ante, da-da-da-da. So what's the benefit of doing this? The gaming set has all the pieces needed to play a specific game or type of game, such as complete deck of cards, boards, and tokens. But what's the benefit? Like, how do we actually put forward why it would be good to have these things? Because that's not really connected to the background if we're giving this to you. So what we need to do is we need to pull out, since you get to choose either gaming sets or musical instruments, we need to have some sort of guidance around this. I think that's what we need to first determine. So your mastery of gaming includes knowledge of history as well as important events. That's history, playing games, understanding personality, da-da-da-da, sleight of hand, useful cheating games. So yes, palming. It really doesn't have anything else. So having proficiency in a gaming set really just means you get your proficiency bonus added to a dice roll. That's really all it's essentially doing. Correct? When you're trying to do something with that, you're going to get your proficiency bonus. I'm just wondering if I need to mention that in any way. This is this is the only thing I can think of. So we might have to sort of have a separate thing for this. And I might need to put that underneath. Gaming sets. Proficiency, whoopsies. Proficiency in gaming sets. If you selected proficiency in gaming sets, then you have a basic knowledge of the history of the game, so the history of the game. What else do we need to put in here? Can discern, can determine. Okay. Have a better chance of determining when a individual is cheating in the game, and we need to keep going. So let's just make sure I get this right. And are better at cheating when playing the game. So just add your proficiency bonus to any. Oh, we're running out of time too. Add your proficiency bonus to any ability check or skill ability or skill check made when using your preferred game set. Okay. Okay, so that's that bit, and I think that's roughly what I wanted to have there. So let's make sure we have that set in. Let's keep going. So scrolling down here, we've pulled out that stuff. We've got it there, and we'll move down. Down, glass blowing, herbal kit, no, jeweler's kit, no, land. Oh, what have you got here, people? I'm going to have to make a mark here so I know where I'm up to when I'm reading the chat. Gambling dens are a thing, maybe give advantage when gambling. Well, the proficiency bonus I think is enough. You're getting a proficiency bonus in this case, so I don't think that we need to give them advantage necessarily. Okay, so we're just going to leave it there. So we had some mistakes. No, that's all right. Osiris, you don't have to be sorry about that at all. It's not. You don't have to be here, people. You do realise this. It's all fine. I can understand. Okay, musical instruments. Here we go. Proficiency with a musical instrument, because if you pick this, then it's going to be different again, right? Instrument indicates you are familiar with the techniques used to play it. You also have knowledge of some songs commonly performed with that instrument. Okay, so this is a really important thing to consider. Your expertise aids you in recalling lore related to your instrument. Your ability to put on a good show is improved when you incorporate an instrument into your act. Compose. As part of your long rest, you can compose a new tune and lyrics for your instrument. You might use this ability to impress noble and spread. Okay, so there's not a lot here on musical instruments. Let's get real. It is pretty sparse. So, but we still need to take into consideration that if you decide to pick that, how do we deal with it? Okay, so let's take a kind of a cut and paste approach to this. And go copy, and I will just do this, paste, and we'll do that, bold, and let's go musical instrument. Musical instrument. If you selected proficiency in musical instruments, in musical, do I want to put it down that way? I'm just trying to think now. Musical. Then you have basic knowledge on the history of the instrument, songs, lyrics, and we need to next and have a better chance and I don't have a better and can perform. Hello, Fred Huber, how are you? I kind of wish this channel had a Discord. Have you ever considered it? Osiris, I have a Discord. I've had one for a while. Yeah, there is can perform. There is a Discord. So let me just see if I just give me a second. Discord. Copied and switch over. So yes, I do have a Discord. If you were wondering, yes, there is one, and yes, I do use it, and yes, I am there, and yes, you can chat about stuff with me there. It does happen. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Let's get back to the business of dealing with this, because this is actually proving to be far more complicated than I thought it would be. It's not true. I knew this was going to be difficult. When I was thinking street urchin, I was like, "There's so much going on here." I didn't actually know. I was actually almost cancelled today. I was like, maybe I'll just go do a race. Races are easier. Races are much easier to comprehend. And like, how do you put it, construct it, and put it together? So I was very tempted to ditch it today, but I didn't. I'm still here. Okay. So perform. So your ability to improved. All right, so let's go back to musical instruments. If you select proficiency in musical instruments, then you have a basic knowledge of the history of the musical instrument, songs, lyrics, and now, do I want to say improved? And can perform a reasonable show when using a musical instrument. Okay. Add your proficiency bonus to any ability or skill checks made when using using your musical instrument. Okay, so that's pretty obvious. We've got that down. Did I need to include anything else? I think that was fine. I was tempted to add in another clause, which is kind of like this with the street expert. You need to be able to. I don't really want people making checks when they're unnecessary. So it's very tempting for me to incorporate that. But I'm kind of repeating myself a lot by doing so. So will I do this? No, I will do it. I'll add that line in. And make some adjustments. Okay, you don't need to make an ability check or skill check using your game set. unless difficulty class is medium or higher. So we'll eliminate dice rolls. And again, musical instruments. You don't need to make an ability check or skill check to use your musical instrument. Unless the class is medium or higher. So we get rid of all the easy stuff. So there's no dice rolling for that. All right. Musical instruments, mostly done. But I also would like to put in, it's got here composing a tune. And I like the idea that during a rest, you can compose a tune. I'm not sure that I need to write down that it's a long rest. Let's just put down a rest. Let's take this line here, because I actually think that's quite cool. And incorporate this under the musical instrument section. Paste. As part of a rest, you can compose a new tune and lyrics for any instrument, for your instrument. There we go. There we go. That's it. All right, cool. So musical instruments, gaming mechanics for our game sets, if we decide to pick that. So we've got those all covered. We still need to lock down Street Expert and City Secrets, but before we do that, we need to keep going. So I believe we're on to Thieves Tools next. Potters. Here we go, Thieves Tools. This is what I wanted to look at and make sure we port across what we need. Okay, and hopefully that'll work. It's top of the hour, so I'm running a bit late, a bit long, but let's just finish this. I think I just sit here and I finish it. Okay, Thieves Tools. Perhaps the most common tools used by adventurers, Thieves Tools are designed for picking locks, foiling traps, and I didn't mention anything about foiling traps. And I actually think that's not a bad idea. Disabling traps, I think, is the word that I would prefer to use. So let's include that in our thing. Proficiency with tools also grants you general knowledge of traps and locks. I think that there is important. So let's go back to Street Expert. And we haven't actually done anything with our Thieves Tools other than sort of give you an idea of, you know, how it's going to work. So let's trickery that involves picking locks, picking pockets, picking locks, adopting a false identity, picking locks. Let's see. Now this is that's not supposed to be and there. See, are tasks. Okay, that's right. That's better. So we need to add in here another thing. So false identity. Discovering traps and disabling traps, a task you can perform with a reasonable level of skill. You have advantage on any charisma based skill check or ability check to deceive, intimidate, persuade, and now I'm just thinking in terms of, because we've probably got we might not have to use advantage in this case, because we're really adding our proficiency bonus. I'm just thinking about this a little bit more. I think that's really what we're dealing with here, is that we're adding our proficiency bonus to these things rather than advantage. So a slight mistake on my part, because we're dealing with trickery, and we're dealing with the thieves' tools, and we're dealing with the disguise kit. So you add let's go here, add your, hang on, add your, sorry people, proficiency bonus to any ability, charisma based skill or ability check to deceive, intimidate, persuade, or form in some way around other people when using your disguise kit. That's that bit done. Okay, cool. Took me a little while to figure out how to make that work, but I got there. Okay, so that's the first bit. Next one. We need to deal with the thieves' tools, and I haven't actually sorted that out. So you get basic knowledge of traps and locks with your thieves' tools. It tells you what's in it. History, so your knowledge of traps grants you insight when answering questions about the locations and knowing of traps. Investigation and perception. So there's a whole bunch of stuff also connected to that, which is interesting. Setting a trap. Just as you can disable a trap, you can also set them. As part of a short rest, you can set a trap using items you have on hand. This is actually quite interesting. The total of your check becomes the DC. For someone else. Okay, so let's make sure that we have a section that talks about the fact that with this background, you could probably set traps, not just find them and disable them. I like that idea. I think that's a smart idea. I think that's really what this was looking for, is a little bit of expansion on this. So let's take something I've already written before and try to sort of duplicate it into something useful. So I need to just figure out how to write that. Okay, so let's go here. Let's go here, copy and paste. Add your proficiency bonus to any dexterity based skill or ability check to get rid of this. To pick a lock, pick a pocket, what else do we need to make sure we include? Pick a lock, pick a pocket, pick a lock, pick a pocket. Now, what's the other thing that we need to deal with here? We also need to have a section. So I'm going to go here. I want to try to conclude the other aspect of it too, or perception based skill or ability check to pick a pocket, pick a lock, pick a pocket, pick a lock, find a trap. Now it's not perception, it's wisdom. Bracket perception. There's a lot of it, so we just need to make sure we expand on this so that it's clear what we're dealing with here. Wisdom, perception. Yep, that'll do. Find a trap. Disable a trap. No information. No information about traps and locks. Okay. When using your thieves tools. Oh, okay. A lot of crunchy stuff here. I've got to make sure I get all the bits and pieces in here. Locks. Okay. My 5e monk used to play the hurdy-gurdy and compose haikus during a short rest. Fun times. Nice one, Jasper. Hello, Derpus patron. Nice to have you here, man. I have a suggestion. A role on your Discord channel you can ping before streams start. Do you want me to do that? It's another step in the preparation process, which actually causes a lot of, if I had copious amounts of time, then I could ping when I have a live stream on all social media. But because I don't have that, it's just you can't imagine. It's like half an hour of my day just to ping when a live stream would be taking place. This happens to me when I'm running the Game Master Roundtable. I mean, it's a good idea, but it's half an hour. Do you know what I mean? It's half an hour of prep time just to ping all the social media about the live streams. This is why I've been playing around with the idea of maybe a mailing list, but even a mailing list might create problems. Anyway, so let me just get back to the traps thing before I get distracted. Okay, so I think we need to have history, traps, so basic knowledge, history, information, history. All right, add your proficiency bonus to any perception check or wisdom, perception, dexterity or wisdom based skill check. This is actually the problem. I think what's going to happen is I'm going to wind up with a couple of different things, because knowledge is intelligence, wisdom, perception, dexterity is the finer mechanics of picking a lock, picking a pocket, finding a trap is sort of the wisdom, the disabling traps thing. So we're actually starting to get into the weeds a little bit here. Finding a trap, disabling. So I need to actually include a few different skill and ability checks to cover these things. Oh, shit. Intelligence. Whoops. Based. Okay, so let's go with this. Okay. Your proficiency bonus to dexterity, wisdom, or intelligence-based skill or ability checks to pick a lock, pick a pocket, find a trap, disable a trap, set a trap. Let's make sure I include this. No information. No information about traps and locks when using your thieves' tools. So no, it needs to be the other way around. I need to make sure I put this somewhere else. So this is okay. Cut, paste. No information about traps. No information. No information. God almighty. What a bit of a quagmire to get myself out of. Okay. Okay, so I just need to cover the last little bit and fill in the gaps. Bear with me, people. I'm just trying to, yeah, increasing viewers would be great. It's just, I don't know how to make it happen without, really just, I can't find the time right now. If the time cost isn't worth it, I don't understand. It should take like... It shouldn't take. It does. It does take half an hour to put it all onto Discord, Facebook, Twitter. I've done it before. It always takes me about half an hour. No, it's all right. No, I get it. It's my intention to kind of do that when I am not doing working full time. But, unless I have more time, I just can't find a way of making that work. Someone has suggested using an app so that one entry will do multiple social media platforms, which is actually not a stupid idea. That would actually be quite a good idea. You gain additional insight when you look at traps because they how they learn, a variety of common signs, pray their presence. Okay, so I think that's the best way to sort of set it up, and I just need to make sure I'm covering the history. History and no knowledge about traps, I think it's pretty much the same. I don't think I need to worry about going and saying the word history. So here we go. Add your proficiency bonus to any dexterity, wisdom, or intelligence-based skill or ability check to know information about information. God, it's a history about traps and locks. Traps or locks. Pick a lock, pick a pocket. Here. Repair a lock. Sorry, people. I'm just making sure I cover all the bits and pieces here. Pick a pocket, find a trap, disable a trap, set a trap, repair a trap. When using your thieves' tools. Okay. So that's that bit. There's another thing that I would like to do, and that is include the stealth aspect of things. But right now, she's getting quite dense. Like there's a lot. Street Expert is covered a lot of stuff. I don't even know if that Street Expert is the best name for it. So I'm thinking more about that as I go. But yeah, I think that because the problem with the thieves' tools is it's quite clear that the intent is that it's not just about dexterity checks or dexterity skills, that there is going to be some interplay with wisdom and intelligence. So broadening it out enough to be able to cover those sorts of things is the hard thing. And proficiency bonus, good enough. I mean, that's fine. And we just eliminate some of the really low dice roll requirements. I don't need that at all there. So we get rid of that. Okay. And I am running late again. Let's see. Have I covered all of that? I think I have. Tinker's tools. We've got Weaver's tools, carving tools. Okay, so that's all of that. So we shouldn't have to go back to here. We should hopefully be able to sort out the rest of this bit. This street secrets thing is the thing that probably is still messing with me a little bit. You know the secret patterns and flow to the city and can find passages through urban sprawl that others would miss. I hate this entry so much. When you're not in combat, you and your commandos can travel. It's such a nothing burger. It is such a nothing burger. Oh, let's use an advantage mechanic for this. I think we should use an advantage mechanic for that aspect of the character background. So let's do this. Take that, copy, go back, and go into here. Paste. You gain an advantage on ability and skill checks made to discover rumors, secrets, no, British English, thank you. Secrets, so we've got that. Rumors, secrets, discover local rumors, secrets, the location of black markets, and connections to the city's underworld. Okay. Let's get this bit. Okay, all right. Let's see if this works a little bit better. You know the secret patterns and flow to cities and can find passages through urban sprawl that others would miss. You gain advantage on ability and skill checks made to discover local rumors, secrets, the location of black markets, connections to the city's underworld. Okay, that's fine. You can navigate the city you grew up with without a map. That's a pretty obvious one. I don't know that when you're not in combat, you and your chemists can travel between two locations of the city twice as fast as your normal speed would normally allow. I mean, I can leave it. I guess I can leave it. It does still feel like a friggin' nothing burger, but at least we've given them advantage on some stuff. So have I included enough? City secrets I do not want to have a feature which just doesn't cover the things they need to cover. Because this has happened to me before, where somebody has played an urchin and they really haven't had any idea how to use it and what it would cover, and so the game master has to try to figure that out themselves because there's not enough guidance, because the entry was such a waffly mess. Everything can be wisdom. Maybe this: when you make a check to use a disguise kit or thieves tools, you can treat a d20 roll of 9 or lower as a 10. I suppose it could be written that way. I'm just not really. Yeah, it could be written that way. I don't know that it's going to matter too much. My earlier comments were suggestions of the secrets. Yes, I do remember. I just don't know how to formulate them, Nathaniel. I was looking at your ideas and I was trying to formulate how that looks. I know. Okay, now I think I've got one of them. I think I've figured out one of them. You know, the secret patterns, locations, and flow to cities, and can find passages through the urban sprawl that others would miss. I think that's partly what we're dealing with here. Secret patterns, information, locations. Okay, so we've got that bit. So what I want to include here is I want to include what you were trying to suggest here. So you gain advantage on ability and skill checks made to discover local rumors, secrets, the location of black markets. What's the other one? Employment, opportunities. I think that's what we were trying to say before, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong, Nathaniel, but I think that's what you were trying to say. So I think that's the one I'll put in. And I think that's... Oh. Okay. All right. What else, if you're a street urchin and we're dealing with street secrets, is there anything I've missed? I'm just a little bit worried that I've missed something that I should have there. This is a first draft. I should be not worrying so much about it, I know. Nathaniel, where are you, Nathaniel? Because I got one of your ideas down, I'm pretty sure. Oh. Oh, now I think I understand what you were trying to say. Let's go with local rumors, secrets, city secrets, city secrets, employment opportunities, important people, important individuals, city individuals, and connections to cities and connections to the city's underworld. Okay, so does that cover what you were trying to say? Let's see. Let's keep going back and see if I've missed anything. We've got our gambling down. Something about the mouse. Gambling. Okay, somebody had mentioned gambling, and I was wondering what the heck I was supposed to do with this. So what have we got here? We've got our tool proficiencies. We've got our languages. We've got our street secrets, which is better than it was before. It's a little bit more spelled out. We've got our street experts, which is not finished. Game sets. Here we go. So, if you select this proficiency, you have a basic knowledge of the history of the game, have a better chance of determining when an individual is cheating in the game, and are better at. I think I need to add in gambling. Improved gambling skills. Skills. Which, yes, that's what I needed to add in there. I don't know why I forgot that one. Do. And I think that's nailed down that little bit. Okay. Okay, that's that bit there. And next, Street Expert, which I don't know if it should be called Street Expert. instead of I guess for me, stealth and sleight of hand kind of fall into the top bracket rather than this bracket here. Because I feel like this is a little different. I feel like this is more connected to the street secrets thing, now that I think about it. So I'm probably going to take that away from there. I've got those two things to cover when people take the musical instrument or the gaming set. I've got the street expert and I've got the city secrets. So it's this one here that's the thing that's giving me the most trouble. Sleight of hand is covered. That's what it is. I knew there was something. Okay, sorry. It took me a little while to click. You gain advantage on ability and skill checks made to discover local rumours, city secrets, the location of black markets, employment opportunities, important city individuals, connections to the cities, and connections to the under. But there's another thing here that I haven't put in here that is related to this, and that's what I need to put in, right? And that is made to sneak through a city environment. I don't believe that their skills are necessarily beyond that. I think that the ability to move through a city unseen is something that an urchin is probably pretty good at. But does it translate to the wilderness? I don't think it necessarily does. But sneak through a city environment, I think that's what I wanted to include as part of that bit. That makes more sense. I'm pretty sure it does anyway. I'm just trying to think about this a little bit more. Street expert. Or does it? Yeah, I don't know. It could probably live in both, actually, now that I think about it. It could probably live in both and it wouldn't matter. I'll leave it where it is. I mean, I think it's covered all the things. The sleight of hand things, it's all covered under the pickpocketing and the dealing with traps and locks. So that's all there. Okay, I think that's reasonable. I think I've nailed down what I needed to get here. Yeah, using a disguise. Ah, yes. You reckon disguise? I don't think they need to have a disguise to sneak through the city. I think that they would. I think it's more about knowing the pattern and the pathways throughout a city. I think that's what makes them able to sneak through a city environment, rather than the disguise kit. The disguise kit does something else, but I think this is where I want them to get advantage when they're dealing with sneaking through a city environment. And this benefit does not translate over to the other characters. It only translates to them. That's all I'm thinking. Any places to hide in the city? Oh, I see. Yes. Including city factions as well. City secrets, including city factions as well. Okay, information on city factions. Okay, so here we go. You gain advantage on ability checks and skill checks made to sneak through a city environment, discover local rumors, city secrets, location, information on important individuals or factions or city factions. And you had here hide in the city, sneak and hide. So I think you're right. Sneak through a city environment. find a hideout. Find a city hideout. I think that's it. I think that's it. Wow. Okay, so Urchin is a bit different than it was before. It's quite a bit different. Let me go through and explain what we've got here. I'm not going to read the description. So tool proficiencies, we kept the disguise kit, the thieves tools. We're also giving them one type of gaming set and one type of musical instrument. Did I say and or or? And or or? I can't remember if I said and or or. Does it matter? Ah, screw it. Give them both. I don't care. Languages, two languages, because I'm porting it from the race over to the background. That's where I want it to live, so that's why that's there. Equipment, small knife, thieves tools, disguise kit, pet mouse, a token to remember your parents by, a set of common clothes, one game set or a musical instrument, and a pouch containing 5 gold pieces. So you get quite a bit of stuff potentially for a gutter snap. Your feature, City Secrets, is a bit different. We've kept some of it, but we've expanded it out a little bit. You know the secret patterns, information, locations, and flow to the city, and flow to cities, and can find passages through the urban sprawl that others would miss. You gain advantage on ability and skill checks made to sneak through a city environment, find a city hideout, discover local rumors, discover city. I'm going to keep saying, make sure I keep referring back to this. Discover city location, discover local. No, it's city rumors. It should be city rumors. Sorry, city rumors, city secrets, the location of black markets, employment opportunities, important city individuals or city factions, and connections to the city's underworld. When you're not in combat, you and the companions you lead can travel between any 2 locations in the city twice as fast as your speed would normally allow. Blah-de-blah-de, who cares? You can navigate the city you grew up in without a map. So that's, I think that's what we. I'm going to add one more thing in here. It's just occurred to me, and I think that would actually be okay. You gain advantage. Sneak. Yes. Rumors. Find city maps. Okay. All right. So we've got that there. So that's all that covered. That's our city secrets feature. The other feature, and I'm giving them 2 features. I'm kind of giving them a bit more than that actually, as it happens. And I'm not giving them a feat. So you get these both. They're not separated. They are connected. This is just to help guide you and the game master towards what needs to be figured out, right? So, street expert, trickery that involves picking pockets, picking locks, adopting a false identity, discovering traps and disabling traps are tasks you can perform with a reasonable level of skill. Add your proficiency bonus to any charisma-based skill or ability check to deceive, intimidate, persuade, and perform in some way around other people when using your disguise kit. So, that's the first thing. Add your proficiency bonus to any dexterity, wisdom, or intelligence-based skill or ability check to know information or history about traps or locks. Pick a lock, repair a lock, pick a pocket, find a trap, disable a trap, set a trap, repair a trap when using your thieves' tools. So there's a lot of stuff there umbrellaed underneath that. You don't need to make an ability or skill check to use your disguise kit or thieves' tools unless the difficulty class is medium or higher, which is a DC 15. Okay, so that's that bit there. So that's that feature that I think that needs to be sort of spelled out a little bit more. We've got it done. Okay, next. depending on what you're using. And I think, okay, so I said or. Did I say or? Did I say or? Or I think I might have hit. Is it supposed to be and or here? I'm trying to decide whether it's and or or. Did I say it didn't matter? I think I said it didn't matter. Okay. It's just with the gear. I give you the choice about whether you get a game set or a musical instrument, but not both. Okay, that's what it is. Okay. All right, so I actually need to make an amendment here to this. You have okay. When it comes to gaming sets, you have, there we go, you have a basic knowledge of the history of the game, improved gambling skills, have a better chance of determining when an individual is cheating in the game, and are better at cheating when playing the game. Add your proficiency bonus to any ability or skill check made when using your preferred game set. Okay. You do not need to, so we've got that done. So I just need to make sure I do something like this again to this down the bottom here, because I need to make sure I cover both, don't I? So it's made the entry for the background quite a bit longer, I realize. When it comes to musical instruments, you have a basic knowledge of the history of the musical instrument, songs, lyrics, and can perform a reasonable show when using a musical instrument. As part of our rest, you can compose a new tune and lyrics for your instrument. Add your proficiency bonus to any ability or skill check made when using your musical instrument. You do not need to make an ability check or skill check when using it. So we've got that done. That's all sorted. And then, of course, it's just create a personality trait, ideal, bond, and flaw for your character as your characteristics for your background. So that's it. Whew, took me a little while, but I think that's got all the information that you really need, because it's scattered amongst books. And I think it's always a smart idea, for supposedly the background is a completely useless item to you. But I would say that, honestly, I think that exploration is one of the most useful aspects of Dungeons and Dragons and D&D 5e. And that it is often overlooked because we assume that the dungeon master will figure all of that stuff out for you. They will figure all that stuff out. They won't worry. They'll come up with the solution to how to resolve that. Now, that's fine if people can do that, but I think this kind of gives you an idea of where you go with this. I think that's the gist of it. We've got some tool proficiencies there. We've got some benefits. We've covered all of the various things that we needed to cover, and that, I think, is the most important aspect of it. So yeah, I just wanted to give a bit more guidance around this. Backgrounds I do not consider to be a waste of time. What I have a problem with is people thinking that backgrounds should be ditched or changed because there isn't a combat feat and built into it. This is not something my group would like to see happen. What about tracking and sneaking? Well, I've got sneaking and tracking. Oh, tracking. I hadn't thought about tracking. I hadn't thought about tracking. Okay, I'm going to have a think about that. It's still in my mind about how I would do this. Yeah, I know. And so I guess, yeah, I've always found that a dungeon master's approach to the features, particularly the features in the background, are either it's a nothing burger, I'm just going to ignore it. Or it's caused a whole bunch of problems because the player wants to do a whole lot of stuff, and the game master is willing to do some of it, but they don't know how much to include because they haven't had time to sit down and think about it. But that's what we've done today, is sit down and think about it. So, yeah. Okay. All right. I'm going to end this poll. I'm not sure if we'll do another background next week. I might do a race. I'll see how I feel. I'll have a look at some of the backgrounds and see where my head is going with them. I still haven't sort of locked that down in my head. I don't want to make that decision just yet. I still have about a week to come up with some ideas. In my suggestion, I mentioned finding people. I did add people. I did actually add that in. Important people, I did put that down. Were you just talking about general people, Nathaniel? Were you just talking about any people in the city? Is that what you were trying to say? I think maybe that's what you were trying to say. Okay. Tracking and finding anybody. I see what you're saying now. I think I understand. You're trying to include not just important individuals. Okay. All right. I'm going to get going. And I'll be back in about, not tomorrow, but the day after, to do some more stuff. We'll be doing an adventure. I believe we're doing a village. You guys had asked to make an adventure around a fishing village, I believe. So I think I have a map for a fishing village. I think I have one. Anyway, I'm going to get going. So thank you for watching and listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking part in the poll. Do you think the urchin background needs fixing for Dungeons & Dragons 5e? Yes. 57%. I totally agree. Undecided 23%. Just watching 19%. Nobody doesn't think that the urchin needed some fixing. People native to the city. I get it now. I understand. Awesome. Thank you to all of my patrons. Thank you for everybody who was here. Thank you to people who were in the chat. So Jasper, Nathaniel, thank you very much. Fred Huber. I believe we had Big Kid here as well. Derp, who put in some suggestions. Osiris, thank you for your feedback. And if I've missed anybody, which is quite possible because it's Shy X, because Shy X has been here as well. If I've missed anybody, was not my intention. Oh, and Sean Chapman, thank you for that $20 super chat. That was very kind of you. And Ravenlaw, I forgot about Ravenlaw as well. There was a few people. So we got there. It took a little while. It's done. So wherever you are in the world, whether it be the morning, the afternoon, or the night, please look after yourself, your family, and your friends. Be nice to your neighbours. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s. Yes, I'll put it up on Patreon.